of all the preseason, off-season, preseason narratives,
Well, that one's been toast now, right?
which one beats the Atlanta Falcons drafted the wrong guy because it was going to mess with Kirk Cousins' success narrative? Which one beats that for narrative that turned out to be nothing? Because they're 6-3, and I will fully raise my hand as a mea culpa because I was the one on the draft set when it happened, saying, "What are they doing?" And I'm not alone. I wasn't alone on the draft set that night when they drafted Michael Penix Jr. 7th overall, and instead of getting a piece that could help you win now for a team that did appear to be all in right now with Kirk Cousins, and why didn't they go ahead and get the best defensive player on the board?
Right.
Why didn't they go ahead and even get maybe Roma Dunze? You want to add one more offensive weapon? Why didn't they do any of that? And I also wasn't the only one on that draft set, or certainly in the NFL media, that was saying, well, the first minute Cousins stubs his toe in Atlanta, they don't have years of watching this guy play for them. In their mind's eye, this guy, Cousins, didn't have any of that emotional equity built up in that fan base of having performed for years in front of them either. There would be cries for, get the rookie in there.
Yeah.
What are we doing with this guy? That was the conversation in drumbeat throughout the entire spring into the summer, right into the second week of the season after the Falcons lost their opener against Pittsburgh.
He looked terrible.
And it wasn't about Penix's talent. No one ever questioned that. It was just,
Oh, no, it was never about
this is
Penix.
the right fit. Why are you,
Why are you doing that? That was the number one narrative of the offseason that has been debunked. Or it's number one of the top offseason narratives debunked by this point in time. Because
Rich, and not to interrupt, Michael Penix, I don't think I've even heard his name mentioned in
it's because
5-6 weeks.
It's because Cousins came up with that. If you put the Falcons schedule up, it's because Cousins came up with that huge comeback drive in Philadelphia in week 2 to make them 1-1 instead of 0-2 going into that game against Kansas City on a Sunday night. And it's because Cousins did beat the Saints in week 4, and you could say, so what? That's when the Saints were just 2 weeks removed from whipping up on the Cowboys to start 2-0.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did, on a Thursday night against Tampa, get Kirk Cousins throwing for 500 yards.
Yeah.
They did, get a break here and there from Tampa as well. And they did beat Carolina instead of stubbing their toe against a team that you didn't think that they would, but they could. They did lose to Seattle. That's a kind of a head scratcher.
Okay.
It'll happen. But at this point in time, after beating Tampa and taking care of Dallas, the Falcons are 4-0 in division. They win this game, they'll be 5-0 in division.
That's a wrap.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
And so we're not sitting here saying, well, Penix is looming or Cousins is going to struggle or is struggling and they're calling for Penix. So, I'm not just saying this because also the coach was, as I said, not many coaches will zoom in 2 days before a game, certainly a day before they're getting on a plane. I'm not just saying that. I'm raising my hand and saying, hey, I didn't get it. I thought it was going to come back to haunt them in 2 ways. One of these rookies they could have had is somebody that they definitely needed. And I haven't looked defensively and said, boy, they're missing, a Dallas Turner or Latu or anything like that. Certainly, for a team that's 6-3. And I'd be like, well, hey, if Cousins stumbles, they're going to be calling for the rookie. And Cousins really hasn't stumbled. He's been terrific.
He's been terrific. Now,
Change.
they are, one of the few lowest teams in the league in terms of sacks and quarterback pressures. So, yes,
Sure. We'll see, I guess.
that has been an issue over the first half of the year. I just say that because I've been watching Falcons games at
Right.
home.
Plus, I mean, we want to be accurate. I'm sitting here saying that,
Yeah.
they I guess they could use.
Look, their leading sack guy, Grady Jarrett, only has 2.5 sacks. A guy they traded for,
In Judon.
Matthew Judon, has 1.5 sacks. It has not been great, but it hasn't been something that's really bit them and cost them games. They've won 5 out of 6 games. They're on fire.
They're on a 2-game roadie before a bye at New Orleans, at Denver. You get tripped up there, but if they don't, they're 8-3 going into a bye, 5-0 in division.
Couldn't be better.
Right? And then they come out of their bye home for the Chargers. That'll be interesting. As you know, Jim Harbaugh was apparently on their radar screen.
It's a fun game.
Jim wound up in the good spot. At Minnesota, at Vegas on a Monday night. I don't know if that can get flexed out of. No offense to Atlanta, but
Yeah.
Home for the Giants, at Washington on a Saturday. Ooh, that's a big one. And then home for Carolina. I think they win the division. I think they host a playoff game, and then
Very
we'll see what's
favorable.
up, right?
I mean, you're looking at 12-5.
And if they're 12-5, they'll be a 3 seed against an NFC North runner-up, right? Or an NFC West runner-up.
NFC North, NFC West, yeah. Or maybe the Eagles.
That would be incredible.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.